Welcome to the 8th box of our Grace subscription. We were just
box.
Doesn't it feel like we were just talking about it?
I mean, December
When
feels
we
like
were-
it was like 2 months ago.
Yeah, we
Not
launched
to
it
me.
in November of last year. And now we're in our 8th box.
It's June.
This is the Archer's gown, by the way. Isn't it so lovely?
Welcome to June.
Welcome to June.
It's an ethereal cloud.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I use the word cloud to describe outfits often, usually for volume or for, an effervescent sort of feel. But this really, I mean, it's just a vision in white. It's so gorgeous.
It is so gorgeous. We're going to put some of the pictures on the screen that Christopher took and Diana Vining edited, and they look so beautiful. Diana really captured the essence and the vibe as she always does, but for this one, the background on the photos and the background on her art is just so wonderful, which we're going to talk about some more. But you can see the photos. This outfit is created by Ruby Red Galleria, and it is also featured in our sporting fashion book. So I'm going to pull up the book, but Christopher, you've had the most time with it and the pressing and what it is. So tell our friends what it is comprised of, which is so wonderful because there's a bonnet too.
Yeah, it's a multi-element thing. You're getting many parts to this outfit like usual. My favorite component of it, I think so far, is how delicate it is. It really has a sort of delicate feel.
Yeah.
And the fabric is gorgeous, right? But also it's the teeny tiny attention to detail in the embroidery, the teeny tiny pleats. I mean, it's got a very sort of sincerely antique quality.
It does.
It feels practical and it feels aged and it feels a little bit utilitarian, actually. Like, it's very clearly
It's a
meant
sporting outfit.
for a sport, and it's meant for moving.
Oh yeah, this isn't like this isn't a receiving dress.
No, no.
This is a sport.
Yeah, it's an active dress. And again, funny that something this sort of bouffant is
And
still
beautiful.
utilitarian, but it's just got a breathtaking feel in your hand. The hat is incredible. I mean, the hat really is something it's a work of its own.
Well, with the little arrow in it too. So the bonnet is absolutely, the hat is absolutely stunning. It came back, the production hats came back better than our sample.
Yeah.
They were just so beautiful.
Yeah.
But the dress comes in 2 parts. So again, it does look better, obviously, when you're steaming it or pressing, getting out some of these wrinkles. It's a beautiful cotton.
You got the overskirt that has the embroidery, and then you've got the underskirt and all of those layers. Then there's also a third lining in that really nice, almost linen.
You kind of have to pull it apart.
It's beautiful.
It feels antique. As soon as we saw this, we said, we need this fabric for other clothes in this. And actually since we have said, well, we need to find more of this.
Yeah.
Like how and where do we get more of this?
Right. I mean,
it's beautiful.
Hobbyists and doll makers have been using things like this for, reproduction christening gowns for ages, but getting it in enough quantity, volume, to mass produce is actually kind of challenging. And I remember when we were looking at this in the beginning, we were sort of debating if it were too simple to put in a subscription because it's white and it's cream and it's pretty, but I think the elegance of it and the delicate quality it has really, I'm so glad that we had that, because the
craftsmanship.
Yes, the craftsmanship.
And the elements. Yeah. Again, the only reason why we were able to do this at all is because we have so many subscribers that really believed in this and continue to believe in us and continue to support us, because if we were ordering, say, 50 outfits, the cost would be, these are already very expensive, but the cost would be like through the roof. We couldn't do it. It's the fact that we order in volume, we do get a smaller price, which we were able to absolutely pass on. We did not increase the price of this subscription, but the quality is like beyond.
This is really
Look at this vest. So this, you're not going to necessarily, you could wear this dress by itself, but it's not meant to.
I mean, I think that this is the star of the show.
Right.
The vest is really,
look at this.
It's the best part. The beads are fantastic, and you've got 3 snaps in the back. The whole thing is lined. It's fitted beautifully, and it gives her body support in a way that a practical garment would really need it. Beautifully done. The gloves.
Okay, so again, our fingerless gloves, like the mitten gloves.
Yeah.
Are $8.
Sure.
And that was the absolute lowest we could offer them for.
Right.
So now you're getting a pair of French gray fingered gloves with little buttons. These are stunning. It's just such a treat.
And they're a perfect color. I love we've done other neutrals, but gray is one that is new to the catalog now.
But I love gray. I painted my house in Amazing Gray by Sherwin-Williams, and I have never regretted that once. It lasts. It's just always in style. It's not one of those colors that you get sick of. But let's talk about also this bonnet with the arrow.
It's unreal.
Unreal. Ruby Red Galleria found all this.
We gave them this concept, and I was so confident they were never going to be able to make
Me too.
that detail happen. And they found the perfect little arrow charm to sew into each individual bonnet. I mean, it's phenomenal.
So again, the bonnet is just absolutely remarkable. And we'll just show you the inside right there. There is so much detail and workmanship in this. Now, this isn't something that we dreamed out of our imaginations. This is from the book. I have a lot of things here. I'm going to give this to Christopher. I really love to show the layers and how it unfolds and how it looks, because it is such an experience. Now, we have it earmarked here. But in the book, the sporting fashion book, you can see the inspiration right here. Now, there are some creative differences, some things that Ruby Red Galleria had to do to be able to bring this to life, but it is incredibly spot on. And the lace collar, this could actually be added if you wanted to make yourself a collar. But in the concept, this was a lot better for Grace because it was just a little too much. Now, we are researching and trying to do a collar, but it has been really difficult to find that exact material. We want a detachable one, but we're not going to put out one that's ugly and that is just too much around here and that is really big and bulky. It has to be the exact right material. So we are actually still working on that. So we'll go ahead and tell them that.
Yeah.
But if we can't get it exactly right, we're not going to do anything.
The issue is that I'm picky.
We all are.
The lace.
And everyone has different taste.
We want something that is
perfect.
Perfect,
dainty and
authentic.
light. Yeah.
If the rest of this has such a wonderful, antiquated quality, I hope that can be through line of continuity through the entire ensemble. So we are looking at options for that collar.
We are.
But
we wanted a detachable one.
And it feels like it stands alone without it.
Well, it absolutely does.
Yeah.
And again, it is a matter of taste. So Marcia Friend, who you're going to hear from soon in this video about the shoes, she personally thought that the collar was too much. She was glad that it was made without it. And this is the way that Ruby Red Galleria could conceptualize it and make it, which is stunning. When I first saw it, I didn't notice. It wasn't until later that I noticed, but we're going to work on that and see. But it doesn't matter. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Now, I love that they gave a close-up, too, of the arrow in the book. So let's talk about archery in the 1820s. I love the whole concept of this. I love the story of this. I love that archery was considered one of the first sports that was deemed acceptable for women. And it was one of the first sports that they played, and boy, did they play it. They played it, they took it very seriously. They played professionally. They had their teams, and the women were so good at it. And some of the wonderful historic outfits of what they wore, and they had their teams, it's just so good. It's very, very fascinating. Were you fascinated by this, Christopher? I
mean, very much so. I hadn't realized that it was such a pivotal moment in the history of not necessarily liberation for women, but like in some right. I mean, it really functioned as a turning point, and I just didn't know that. So it's fun to maybe be learning at the same time while we are conceptualizing and also studying and also, making refinements and doing our little daily dolly things. To have the chance to maybe have a history lesson at the same time.
Absolutely.
It's very exciting.
I love this part. In Great Britain, the Royal Company of Archers and the Royal British Bowmen were both well known. The latter invited female membership from its inception in 1787. As a refined sporting event, to archery, no cruelty can be objected. Nothing is killed, nothing is hunted. There is in trial of skill which excites a pleasing emulation. So this is written in 1787. So we love that. Putting arrows into a target. And this was something that I'm sure the women enjoyed. It wasn't a big bloody, brawly, testosterone filled. Like that's women,
But it was also
but
a
it was
chance
also
to show that strength.
right.
To prove
Oh, that women could do it.
Yeah, is that you have the brawn, but you're sophisticated enough to not use it in such a brutish fashion.
Right. Exactly.
That's important as a distinction.
Right.
And comes through in a garment like this.
Oh yeah, because also it takes a lot of strength to pull back and shoot an arrow.
Endurance, precision.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's hard work.
It's hard work. So this was a very progressive sport when this came out. It is still obviously a sport, but for women, I love that. And so the title of the chapter in your story is Spearheading Progress. So we're all about women's progress. We love that. And so this one really struck a chord with me because I can just imagine what it would feel like to be basically an oppressed woman where you weren't allowed to do sports. You weren't allowed to do anything. Gosh, up until the 1970s is when women could get credit cards without a man's signature.
Right.
And so that was just in the 1970s. So what it must have felt like actually in the 1820s, which is when this particular garment was made, that would have felt good to be able to be taken seriously.
Right, and to have the empowerment of not only the oppressors around you validating your capability, but also garnering a community within that and feeling like you have an actionable momentum shared together, proving like, no, actually I can do this.
Yeah.
And we can do this.
We can do this.
Yeah.
To hit a bullseye required garments that were loosely cut, chiefly at the shoulders, and the prevailing fashions of the 1820s were ideally suited for this sport. Lightweight dresses had ample sleeve allowance, and a sleeveless spencer, such as this example, with a uniform-like braid and buttons across the chest, permitted the archer to raise her bow to eye level and release the arrow in one smooth motion. Losing was not a necessarily bad outcome, especially if a male heart was also the target.
There it is.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
But this is really fun. So again, they did such a remarkable job. This is the last time I'm going to show the book because then we're going to talk about the contents. But I really want you to look at the embroidery and the detailing at the bottom of the skirt of this 1820s example. And of course the embroidery on the vest, the spencer, is incredible. But I mean, just the way that they got that.
I know. It's really
It's amazing.
So Ruby Red, as always, knocked it out of the park. Thank you so much to Ruby Red Galleria for all of your attention to detail and your persistence with us. I mean,
it takes months to get a sample from them because they are sourcing these materials and because they're very busy, but because they are painstaking sourcing these materials, sometimes printing and manufacturing the materials themselves. But so we do have some add-on shoes, which is really fun for this. So they are manufactured by Facets Boutique, our wonderful Marcia friend.
I have to say, Marcia, these might be some of my favorites that you've done for VDC.
Really?
Wonderful.
I mean, because she's made some wonderful shoes.
Boots for the first box for Christmas
those were so good.
I mean, really phenomenal. But I love the shape. I mean, she just did a really great, she understands fashion history very, very well and is a wealth of knowledge and has a fabulous eye and great taste. And so there is a heather gray and a cream version. There's two variations. And I really actually love the other ones because they are a patent leather and then a soft, like brushed leather. Oh, you're not wearing shoes.
Well, that's okay. You don't have to take our word for it because we have Marcia Friend here in studio and she's going to come in and chat with us all about it. So come on in, Marcia.
Hi, it's Marcia Friend of Facets Boutique and I'm here to present the shoes for Grace's Journey Through Time for June. Rachel brought us this beautiful late Georgian, early Victorian sporting outfit so that Grace can practice her archery. Archery was one of the few sports that was acceptable for women to participate in, and it was often a social outing for the upper class. Since it was a social activity, the costumes and footwear were not particularly regimented or designed to be practical for the sport. Women could wear pretty much anything they wanted, any comfortable outfit, if you consider corsets to be a comfortable outfit, and any kind of boot or shoe. Men gave up their high heels at the beginning of the 19th century, but heels for women of all classes got more popular. Grace's shoe this month features a high block heel, which followed the curved Louis heel of the 1800s, and it's more practical and supportive. As the Victorian era got underway, women's clothing became more conservative and covered more of the body. Shoes with openings that show the arch of the foot were considered flirtatious and feminine. At the beginning of the Victorian era, Louis Daguerre founded modern photography, which allowed for mass distribution of photos. You can find erotic photography of the period often showing scantily clad women in their heels, showing off their ankles and the curved bridge of the foot. I did Grace's shoes in gray and white, specifically to go with the archery outfit, and a small number in creamy white that can go with just about any fashion. The shoes feature delicate lace, which I know can be difficult for some people, so I designed them so that you can tie them before you put them on the foot and adjust the loops to a short length. You can then put them on the foot without having to do the laces and secure the bow with a tiny bit of fray check or glue or clear nail polish and clip the laces to a more realistic length. There we are. As you can see, these shoes also fit elegantly. These are a great vintage look that can be paired with modern outfits, and whether you're using them for period outfits, modern outfits, they're sure to hit the mark. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marcia friends. So we have wonderful, wonderful selection. You can get the 2 colors after the video. Sometimes people wonder when these things are going to air, and they always air at shoppable at 11 a.m. our time. Time zones can be confusing, but whatever time zone Denver, Colorado is currently in, at 11 o'clock is when it goes, because our videos air at 10. So we give people a little bit of time. And some people have asked, like, why doesn't it go live like immediately? It's because we don't know how long the videos are going to be.
People are still watching.
People are still watching. We want to give you 20 minutes to think about it.
Sure. Sure.
Right? Because it used to be like they would go for sale when the video started. So then that was like really stressful.
Right.
We don't do that anymore. So we give you a break.
Multitask with 2 different tabs. And
yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
We want it to be, it can be stressful enough as it is, so we want it to be fun. So this is great. Now, one thing that we have that is so exciting is we have a bow and arrow set coming inside this box. We went through a lot of looking around, I went through a lot of just wondering, trying to get it, and one of our wonderful factories actually was able to source these so that they could be affordable enough that we could actually put them in the box.
Unbelievable.
That is unbelievable, because these were very, very expensive. I looked at it and thought, well, I can't go into debt putting out this box, but
Right.
our factory was able to talk to their friends at the factory and negotiate a very good price. So they're not in the scale of what would have been, we couldn't get a 16-inch bow and arrow.
No, but I do think it actually works. It may not be historically, like the ones from the 1820s are, 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
But I think that's perfect, and it comes with arrows, so I think that's perfectly acceptable.
It comes with 4 arrows. So if you're posing, if you're taking this to Doll Club, if you're setting up a fashion history exhibit, you have a bow and arrow, in addition to the wonderful printable one Diana made.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
It is phenomenal. So let's talk about the paper doll of the month from Diana Vining.
So gorgeous. Again, her attention to detail is always phenomenal. And I loved what she does with undergarments.
Yeah.
She's always able to so creatively reimagine and envision what the outfit is, what the month is, what the theme is, what the story is, and she makes this beautiful hybrid of each of those elements and creates a whole different second outfit on the doll. So a fabulous job. Again, great little accessories with the bow and with the target. Her hair looks gorgeous. I love the little earrings. They almost appear like arrowheads, which I think is a great detail. She's just, this is phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
It's great. I mean, that detailing is just gorgeous.
It is. Diana takes so much time and effort planning these, the conceptualization, putting it in your head as an artist. You have to, half the thing is just plotting it out in your mind, and then she has to draw it, color it in, scan it, do all of these things, so many steps before it gets to this part. And then she doesn't even, the paper doll is just one part. She does the imagery.
Yep. Which this was the one, I mean,
so beautiful.
The one of her drawing back the bow is probably my favorite, but the actual backdrop in this is just so breathtaking.
The illustrations are wonderful.
She did a great job.
Thank you so much, Diana Vining. And then Diana also did this wonderful Grace's Afternoon of Archery. So you got your belt to put your arrows in, and then what you can do for these arrows is you put them on toothpicks. So Christopher, you cut these out, and it didn't take too long.
Actually, Diana sent them to me.
Diana sent them. Thank you, Diana.
She hot glued the end of those, and then she did a little bit of black at the end, maybe with a marker or some paint. just a fabulous craft. Like, even if you are, many reasons to have the subscription box, but if you're someone that's maybe craft oriented, I think this is a wonderful, easy, accessible, satisfying craft that you can just like enjoy fiddling with, right? If you want to put on a movie and a cup of tea and like just sit and cut out little paper arrows and glue them to toothpicks, I think that is like
so satisfying.
Truly, it's a great afternoon.
So and they are historically accurate too. So you place the arrows in the quiver and attach the quiver loop to your favorite Grace belt, and you can also use the ribbon as a belt too. So that's historically that's another archery outfit that is shown on the craft card, and you can see how it has historically used.
Yeah.
It's just great. And she's got a compass on there on the historic image. I find it so fascinating. And I know that all of the doll collectors do. Doll collectors love fashion history.
Of course.
We love fashion. We love history. We love learning about all that. So also inside your box, you are going to receive a little collector card that has the picture of the outfit and the information about archery and the information from the sporting fashion book that's going to come in there. So I think that is so cool. So cool. And then we have the cover letter. So it's wild to me that we're in the 8th month. That's why we're extending the subscription, because we can't be done this soon.
We're having too much fun.
We're having way too much fun.
And I think you're having too much fun.
Oh, absolutely. Aren't you having fun? Drop us a heart on the live video or leave us a comment. But we know that you are, because we see your photos and we see your comments. And I can feel it, you know? We can just feel it out there.
Yeah.
And we're very proud of we're proud of this, but we're also proud of you for going for it and getting back into it. That's one of the biggest comments that I get, is that people say I am getting back into it. I'm getting back into collecting. I'm getting back into displaying my dolls and playing with my dolls and changing their outfits on a monthly, weekly basis, daily basis, where you haven't done it for a while. And that's that shift in your life and in your daily routine. I think that's admirable and lots of fun.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It's important to be, finding things that bring you joy and pursuing that joy and being sort of the facilitators of that in some way is a great joy, and so much of what we do is so much fun. So if that can be shared both ways, then I'm happy. So happy. So you'll read the cover letter when you receive it, but I love the very end where it says, well, in the middle and then the end, but it says, the June outfit for Grace is a tribute to those capable, determined women and to the idea that strength and femininity have always gone hand in hand. This outfit is more than a costume. It's a reflection of a moment in time when women were quietly claiming more space, more freedom, and more agency. We loved bringing that to life for Grace, and we hope you feel the strength and joy in every stitch. And I truly believe that, especially just as a woman myself that is the daughter of a woman who had it much harder in life, being a woman, trying to be taken seriously in business, in walking in a door and having it be a woman, and people are like, I was expecting a man. I still get that today. And so the quiet strength that women have, whether you're out building a career, running a company, or taking care of a household and raising children, which, oh my gosh, requires, in my opinion, more strength than what I do here, is so admirable. And so this is just kind of a love note to that, to fashion history, and to the women of the world, which our wonderful Grace has been doing a lot. So before we bring in the chat about the story, we're going to chat about our pattern of the month from Tamara Casey. And I'm going to pull up the pictures so Christopher can be refreshed on this, but it is so beautiful. I do remember being captivated by this one. I love her color choice. I love the color choice, and the bow and arrow that Tamara Casey made, she made it herself out of wire. Yeah, she is so handy at what she does, but it's called Leisure. And isn't that so beautiful? I love it. The hat is wonderful. I love her detail with the basket too. Yeah. Gorgeous. This is a companion piece. It is a very, very close rendition with Tamara's added embellishments with what she does, but it's remarkable. And I'm shocked that not shocked because she continues to amaze us, but very impressed by the fact that she was able to make this. Yeah. It is just amazing. So Tamara Casey of Designs by Jude, come on in and tell us all about it.
During the late Victorian era of the 1800s, recreation and leisure activities became a huge part of the women's movement. I can only imagine the fun and freedom women must have felt as their worldview and their place in it began to expand. Participating in outdoor activities like croquet, tennis, cycling, and archery went from being unheard of to commonplace. This month's pattern celebrates that liberating time for women and also keeps in beautiful step with this month's theme. The leisure pattern features a floor-length dress with a fitted bodice and leg of mutton sleeves and a modest overskirt. The sporting collared vest is decorated with a chevron front design with bead accents, and the look is complete with a brimmed hat to keep Grace's eyes protected from the sun and focused on her target. I hope you find this month's pattern to perfectly complement Grace's ever-growing historical wardrobe. May it inspire you to create an outfit perfect for your Grace's individual leisure activity style. Be sure to click and share your photographs, and as always, I can't wait to see what you make.
Thank you so much, Tamara Casey of Designs by Jude. This is a fantastic pattern. It is a value of $12.95, which is included in for the people that are in the subscription. It is a digital download, and what a wonderful thing to have with our subscriptions. Isn't that just such a wonderful added element?
I mean, she's always able to elevate every month and every box. And if you look at it, all spread out, you're getting the garment that our factories help us produce, and the garment that Diana has constructed, and the garment that Tamara has constructed. And you're getting so many elements in your box, and so many different fashions in your box. And maybe they're just, in some instances, visions or iterations of the same garment, but like seen through the lens of different artists, I think is so valuable. And the way that each person is able to contribute to the experience that way, I think is what makes it so special. It's about, the shared experience, not only creatively, but between each other. And I think that happens when you open it at home. You can sort of see that and feel that.
Yeah. And I encouraged Tamara at the start of the historical subscription to do whatever she wanted. So if she wanted to do a modern pattern, if she wanted to do a compliment in a modern way, if she wanted to do the outfit of the month, I thought that was actually a super fun idea, because there's a lot of people that would want to make our outfits of the month. Totally. And and we don't care. That's fine. Have fun with it. Now you have the fast track to making this outfit of the month. And then it does create little businesses. So the sewers can sew it, or sometimes the sewers get hired to make it. And if you want to have more than one outfit in different iterations, especially with that beautiful, that burgundy,
so gorgeous,
wonderful companion, because you could set up your own team of ladies.
Oh my gosh,
doing that.
Would be amazing. Yeah, this is great for the paper craft too. If you've got all your printables, you can make little, have target practice with Grace and all of her other Graces, and get them dressed up in different colors.
Speaking of target practice, let's talk about our set here. Now, where did you find the arrow?
So this is actually an antique. Before everybody comes for my head, this is an antique arrow that we had in the shop, and I found that like probably 2 years ago. It was just sitting in the store, and I had sort of buried it in the back of my mind that we had one. It's an antique. I believe it's an indigenous arrow, so it's really not used properly here, at risk of being, it's a gorgeous antique arrow that I remembered while I was preparing this set, like, oh my gosh, I have an arrow. And so I took some spray paint and cut a big circle out, and I made a target. And anyway, I just,
It's great. I love the target. Christopher had asked me the other day, he came around the corner and said, would it be a good use of Paul's time if he went and got us some red spray paint? And I said, well, what is it for? And he says, for the Grace subscription. Well, of course it's a good use of time. This is what we do. So it was very worth it. And thank you, Paul, for getting it.
To be agreeable.
Paul's filming right now.
Yeah.
And very, very well, very used. And it looks authentic, like the way that you, it does.
I don't know about that.
I think it does.
I appreciate that. I took, a little bit of time figuring out how to, sort of jerry rig it, but
it looks good.
Thank you.
And the lace that you pulled in is super complimentary to the outfit. And these we have been taking to doll shows for eons.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad we still have them.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's like, this is, our mother was out doing this 25 years, 40 years ago. And we're still doing it with the same stuff and the modern stuff. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It makes me feel good. So Christopher, this is one of my favorite stories that you have written. I absolutely love it. The ending is my favorite. that last sentence is actually, I love it. It made me smile as soon as I read it. So I'll let you take that away and chat about it.
We are at chapter 8, and again, I think it's kind of crazy that we've been doing this for
Me too.
8 months now.
I thought it was going to go on forever, like a year felt like so long, but now we know that's not very long.
And it happens every time. Like, I mean, every time I get to about this point, and I'm like, there's no way. Like, how do we get this far
let's
so
pump the
fast?
brakes.
Because it's also, I mean, again, when you're doing it for 3 different characters and 3 different subscriptions, time just flies. So I've been trying to savor, you know, each moment. And maybe there's an element of that in this story that feels a little bit more grounded in a singular moment rather than trying to cram in a whole story arc into a page or 2. So Grace is experiencing archery, and I will let you read about it, but maybe I'll read you sort of a silly paragraph. Her life was rich with zest. From safari to C'est Francais, she was traveled, experienced, and worldly. She'd performed recitals, attended movie premieres, she'd even tried her hand at farming. She had to giggle at her desire to spice things up, and yet the desire was there. She wanted to use her hands and to hone a skill. Grace recalled from her recent studies some interesting literature about archery, learning that it was one of the earliest sports to admit women players. Grace's heart swelled thinking of those persistent, capable women, urged to be ladies, determined instead to show the world how much more they could be. And there was certainly more to Grace. So there's much more of that to be had. This will fit on one page back and front. It's a cute little, you know, I like this story. It's more concise than
Yes. I have encouraged Christopher. I know that we actually had a viewer, Emily, write in and say that just the story in her box was worth the value of $80. And I sent that to him immediately because I think that is a wonderful compliment.
It's very flattering. We have a lot more going on than just the story, so I appreciate that.
Right. There's a lot of different things, and it does take a long time to write them, but it is important, and we bring in a lot of human elements to this. So we have our story and our paper doll, and there are so many people that are involved and so many creative juices, but this story is wonderful.
Thank you.
The last sentence, so she stayed late into the evening, sending arrows flying into the golden sunset. And I just thought, just again, as a woman that was doing whatever she was doing in life, like it felt like that I would want to do that. Just because being a human sometimes just is really stressful, and just to have a moment where you're just, you know, where they say where people just stand there and scream for happy or sad, you're just like releasing the energy, but just to be like shooting arrows into the night sky. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is really good. I know that you're going to enjoy this so much. So this is a wonderful box. There is a lot of history, a lot of fun. I cannot wait to see how you interpret this, how you set it up. You can wear it with long hair or a bun.
Yeah, it's very versatile.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think I would want to wear it without that Spencer. I think for me, the Spencer is sort of kind of what makes the outfit in some way. I mean, I love the gloves, I love the hat, don't get me wrong. But if you wanted to mix and match those, I suppose you could. But it is designed to be sort of worn the way it is. And I guess you could add to it, you know, the ribbon belt and really have that sort of other added element that Diana brought in.
Right.
But it is versatile, and if you wanted to play with any other, you know, pieces from, I mean, like the cape from December would be something you could wear on top of this. I mean, there's ways to play with it.
You could. We don't. For these pieces, we line them up exactly as they are. The only thing that we might add is or I've seen our customers do is they'll have a hat made or something some kind of really wonderful accessory made for it, and that is very, very, very special. But I love mixing and matching more than anything, but these ones are more like, at least for us, for when we line them up, it's just like, that's how she looks. And they're just wonderful.
It's also different because we are the ones that have been sort of looking forward to these releases, right? And we've been the ones behind the conceptualization and what have you. And so to see the finished product as gratifying as it is, where I think there's a lot more encouragement and liberty as you, the customer, to play with it in a way that feels authentic. So we encourage you to
We
do
encourage
so.
you. It's different for us.
Yeah, if we want to be, let us be boring if we want to be boring. You can go have fun with it.
Yeah, and we do love when you mix and match. I had somebody, she made a pirate outfit out of one of the Grace outfits. So you are very creative, and our virtual doll convention group is full of amazing people that are so creative. We are receiving a lot of Sybils right now that are so creative and so cool.
You guys are blowing me away.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, I mean, like I knew, dolly people are very crafty and very artistic and very creative. And I maybe rudely, I wasn't expecting, first of all, the onslaught. We have quite a few cats. And secondly, the creative vision behind some of
That's
these.
so good.
It's inventive. It's very exciting.
Very exciting. They're going to go on the road, the Sybils.
Yep.
They're coming with us to October when we are going to be at the Ohio National Doll Show with all of our wonderful friends and Robert Tonner. And won't that be the best special exhibit?
I'm so excited. I think that's such a fun way to bring in the doll experience to something like that. I think often you see special exhibits that are highlighting an artist or highlighting a collection or highlighting something that feels kind of maybe off limits in some way, very sacred. And it's not that the cats can't be that, and maybe they are, but that even more so, it feels like a merging of those two things. It's not necessarily something on stage that you don't have access to, but are only allowed to admire. It's inviting you to create something for the spotlight. And I just think that's great.
When people create a song, they write so many different types of songs, and there have been so many different types of Sybils that have arrived out of all these different mediums, and you can tell when people really tried, or maybe were not an artist to start. I'm not a crafty person, so if I was going to put one together, it's like I would really have to try. And when I see that, when those packages come in and I open those Sybils, I am so proud of the people that took the leap and went ahead and made one out of whatever they could find and do.
Sure.
I am just so proud of you. They are so fun. So the cat, I guess, is out of the bag because Robert Tonner has created a new Sybil, and she will be released when we launch the Elowen season 3, which is so exciting. We have a new Sybil. I know. It's going to be so good.
It's a brand new concept.
Yeah.
So it's Robert's sculpt. It's a Robert concept that we have collaborated
Robert sculpted
on, but this is a brand new Robert product that is not. It's not the same Sybil that you know before.
No.
It's.
I mean, yeah.
If you're expecting a reproduction of the existing Sybil, it is not the same. But it is I love what he did in refining this one and the direction he took to change what he did change about the sculpt. I think it maybe even fits, I would say, better feels unfair to say because that has a value assigned to it. But I think it is such an appropriate fit for Elowen's universe.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
And where she's going and what she's doing.
Yeah.
So, and we'll talk about it further. But he had said, since we're producing more, maybe I should update the sculpt. And when he said that to me, I just thought he was going to make little tweaks to the original sculpt.
Yeah.
So then when he sent the new cat, I just was like, but then immediately I said, I love it.
Yeah.
So we're having 450 Sybils made, and they're in production right now. So that's very exciting.
Oh,
it's so exciting.
I cannot wait.
I cannot wait either. We have a lot of wonderful things coming, incredible things coming for the Grace Historical subscription. We just approved 3 new samples of the undergarments.
Yes. Beautiful undergarments.
Beautiful, incredible undergarments. You do not want to put clothes on top of these undergarments.
No, these are made for scuttling around town and showing off those skivvies.
For sure. Yeah. You don't want to cover. You could. Maybe.
What for?
Maybe the skirt.
Who are you shy for? They're in your living room.
No, they're amazing.
Yeah.
So we've got some really, really fun things. We're going to be giving you lots of heads up. So don't worry. Sometimes we get emails saying, did I miss something? On the Virtual Doll Convention event schedule, we always put things at least a week to sometimes months in advance.
Yeah.
So you don't miss anything that way. And we email and talk about it in the group. So unless you're under a rock or taking a long sabbatical from VDC, it's very hard to miss something.
Yeah, that's true.
You might miss it if it sells out quickly, but you'll know it's coming.
You'll know it's coming. Yeah, you gotta be prepared.
Yeah.
We got, we're baking in small batches over here.
We are.
But
we are a small business.
Yeah.
And when we overbuy, that's not good for us. When we underbuy, it's not good for us. We try to just keep it like a really good balance, but sometimes that's not easy.
Yeah.
Sometimes people end up disappointed, and sometimes we have way too much inventory that we have to deal with as well on the other side if we overbuy. So it's a balance. So we're working on it.
Yeah.
We do good. Well, I want to thank everybody everybody involved so much with this. This was such a fun video. It's such a wonderful outfit.
I love this outfit. I think simplicity sometimes is the way to go.
Yeah.
I love loud. I love extravagant. I was the lunatic behind, you know, Elowen's trip to Milan. Like, I like loud. But I also I love sort of a refined and restrained approach to you know, couture. And this is something that already existed, but we weren't sure in the beginning that we were going to do this because of its simplicity. And I think it's a gorgeous choice. I think it feels maybe so far the most authentic that we've done in an antiquated way.
And by the time it gets to production and we greenlight it for a subscription, we have analyzed it, we have talked about it, we have obsessed over it. By the time it gets to that end point, we really feel really settled in our bones that this is something that we hope you're going to love.
Yeah.
And so I do feel really, really good about that.
I love it.
Yeah. So we hope you love it too. Now, as always, a little bit of housekeeping. Sometimes we get emails wondering like when it's going to go out. It usually goes out between 1 and sometimes up to 4 or 5 days from when the video airs.
Yeah.
That's because we're making the boxes, Paul's working overtime getting everything shipped, but it's from when the video airs. So this will be going out, some of them today, but probably most of them next week.
Yeah.
So, but thank you always for your patience and love and support.
As much as I wish we could clone each of ourselves,
oh my gosh,
3 times, it is just the 3 of us. And so thank you for exercising patience.
Yeah.
It's worth waiting for, we promise.
Yeah, thank you so much. We love you so much. Thank you for tuning in, whether you're on it or not. We just love hanging out with you. And we hope you enjoyed this. Thank you, Paul, for filming. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.